Don't look up. The pinnacle above you is the legendary Lover's Leap of Native American Indian lore. The name refers to a legend about a Cherokee maiden and a Shawnee warrior who fell in love and wanted to marry. Even though both tribes claimed that this area is a hunting ground, laws forbade a marriage between the tribes. Forced to abandon their dream, the young lovers met in the black of the night and climbed to this pinnacle. As the sun rose above the mountains, the lovers leaped to their death in hopes of being united in an afterlife. That's way up there. That's Lover's Leap.
We are at the Natural Tunnel State Park near Dungannon, Virginia. This sign, we're down at the tunnel site, as you can see. And this sign is about Debbie Bruce Wingo. It says he was born in 1945, died in 2020. So the legacy of leadership and service. For over 30 years, Bruce Wingo served the Board of Conservation and Historic Resources and its successor, the Board of Conservation and Recreation, BCR. Persuasive yet cordial and thoughtful, he embodied the spirit of a true Virginian. Bruce leaves behind a legacy of generosity, professionalism, and dedication to family and friends. He served 14 governors, and his contributions to natural resources, the railroad industry, and the Commonwealth of Virginia are unparalleled. From 1988 to 1991, he served on the Outdoor Recreation Advisory Board, acting upon numerous recreational grants, including the Land and Water Conservation Fund and the Virginia Outdoors Fund. From 1991 to 2003, and from 2013 to 2020, he served as the chair of the BCR, which is the Board of Conservation and Recreation. He provided leadership and advocacy for millions of dollars in bond projects for major restoration of existing state park facilities and expansion of park lands and facilities. He coordinated trips for legislatures on several blueways and state parks, allowing them to gain first-hand knowledge of the Commonwealth's diverse natural resources. He secured numerous historic rail properties, which were instrumental in developing High Bridge Trail, Staunton River Battlefield, New River Trail, and Natural Tunnel State Park. Natural Tunnel State Park advocacy. In 1989, the park's chairlift was installed, allowing more people access to the tunnel than ever before. This created safety concerns for visitors around the railroad tracks. Bruce Wingo, who then served as Norfolk Southern's Railroad's resident vice president of government relations for Virginia, became the liaison between state park staff and Norfolk and Southern. He was instrumental in getting Norfolk Southern to donate funds to assist in constructing the boardwalk and observation platform that you enjoy today. In 2013, Bruce played a key role in starting the park's Railroad Day event in partnership with Norfolk Southern. He loved Natural Tunnel and Railroad Day and delighted in talking with visitors, young and old alike, at the annual event. We're still here at the Natural Tunnel State Park. Again, there's the tunnel. Interestingly enough, there's a man-made tunnel right there that the railroad goes through. Can't really see it because it's behind the tree. We'll take a look at that later. Right here, this is the other side of the sign that we read a few minutes ago. And it says, "Behold the natural tunnel. As you look around, imagine this area unaltered by humans, hidden within the Appalachian Mountains and these sheer limestone cliffs. The natural tunnel was remote, from Native Americans to early pioneers to the coming of the railroad. A journey to the tunnel was filled with many challenges. Through the years, a visit became easier, with a trail to hike or ride down on the chairlift. However, one thing has remained the same: the, quote, wow factor, unquote, reaction from each visitor after seeing the tunnel for the first time. Formation of a natural wonder. What happens when you combine a fault line, a creek, limestone, chemical erosion, and time? You get a natural tunnel. The pieces of the puzzle came together at the right time, making this geological feature truly one of a kind. The limestone and dullstone, or dolomite, that make up the rock walls around you are shaped by water. When rock is put under serious pressure, like an earthquake for example, it will bend and break, creating a fracture in the rock called a fault. Here, the gleaned fault runs the entire length of the tunnel and beyond. The fault was not very big when the Stock Creek first started to seep through. Over millions of years, that's questionable, the acidity of the water dissolved the rock and formed the tunnel that we see today. This chemical erosion also caused two sinkholes to form at each portal of the tunnel and eventually cave in, due to lack of support from the rock below. When these sinkholes caved in, it revealed the steep amphitheater walls that now surround you. The tracks that changed history. Railroads, like water, tend to follow the path of least resistance. The South Atlantic and Ohio Railroad began laying tracks through the tunnel in 1888. The natural tunnel route was a gateway into far southwestern Virginia and eastern Kentucky for coal and transportation. On May 15, 1890, the first passenger train passed through the tunnel from Bristol, Tennessee, en route to Big Stone Gap, Virginia, and continued for nearly 50 years. In 1939, the Lonesome Pine Special was the last passenger train car through the tunnel. Coal, however, has been pulled through the tunnel since it was first carried on these tracks in 1890. Norfolk and Southern Railroad continues to transport coal using the tracks to this day. These railroad tracks forever changed the history of the natural tunnel and surrounding region. The pavilion depicted in this photograph was constructed to accommodate train passengers and other visitors to the tunnel. Over the years, everything from picnics and weddings to dancing and gambling took place here. Tunnel stats. From the south portal, current location, to the north portal, the tunnel is 850 feet long. Within the tunnel, the highest point is 300 feet beyond the entrance and is dome-shaped. From the top to the creek bed below, the sheer limestone walls are roughly 300 feet tall.